haunting true crime cases in recent history. The disappearance and murder of Laci Peterson. On Christmas Eve 2002, Laci, who was 8 months pregnant, vanished without a trace. What followed was a media frenzy, a massive search effort, and growing suspicion surrounding her husband, Scott Peterson. Was it a tragic accident or something far more sinister? On the morning of December 24th, 2002, Laci and Scott Peterson started their day like any other. They watched some TV together, but then went their separate ways. Scott headed out on a fishing trip, while Laci planned to run errands and take their dog for a walk. Later that afternoon, Scott returned home to find their dog wandering around the neighborhood with its leash still on, but Laci was nowhere to be found. After some time, Scott called his mother-in-law, Sharon Rocha, asking if she knew where Laci was. When Sharon realized Laci was missing, panic quickly set in. With Laci being 8 months pregnant, the situation became even more urgent. Family and friends began to worry as she hadn't returned from her walk. The police were contacted, and the search for Laci Peterson began. Laci Peterson was born in 1975 in Escalon, California, and grew up in a close-knit family. Known for her joyful and energetic personality, she loved gardening with her mother and was active in cheerleading throughout school. Laci later attended California Polytechnic State University, where she met Scott while studying horticulture. The two married in 1997, and after 5 years of marriage, Laci was thrilled to be pregnant with their first child, a son they planned to name Connor. By all accounts, Laci was excited about starting her family and looking forward to motherhood. As soon as Laci was reported missing, the search for her quickly became a massive effort. Family, friends, and neighbors immediately joined in, and soon the entire community of Modesto was involved. The case grabbed national media attention, with news outlets broadcasting Laci's story across the country. Candlelight vigils were held, and a $500,000 reward was offered for any information that could lead to her return. The police received thousands of tips, but many led to dead ends. Several witnesses reported seeing a pregnant woman walking her dog on the day Laci disappeared, but none could positively confirm it was her. One tip about a suspicious van seen in the neighborhood turned out to be unreliable, with varying descriptions of the vehicle from different witnesses. Adding to the confusion, a house across the street from the Petersons had been burglarized around the time of Laci's disappearance. Initially, it was suspected that the robbery might be connected to the case, but after investigating the suspects, the police found no solid link between the burglary and Laci's disappearance. Despite these challenges, the search continued with growing urgency. After Laci went missing, Scott Peterson's behavior raised red flags for many. While family and friends were panicked, Scott remained unusually calm and detached. He told police and neighbors that he had been out fishing on the day Laci disappeared. But when speaking with Laci's parents, he initially claimed he had been golfing. This conflicting story, along with his lack of urgency, began to make people suspicious. Scott also showed little interest in engaging with the media to help keep Laci's face in the public eye. Instead, he relied on friends and family to speak on her behalf, which only fueled concerns. His behavior didn't fit the profile of a frantic husband, and even Laci's family started to question his innocence. As more inconsistencies in his actions came to light, suspicion grew, and Scott found himself at the center of the investigation. A major breakthrough in the case came when Amber Fry, a woman from Fresno, revealed her relationship with Scott Peterson. Amber had been dating Scott for several weeks, completely unaware that he was married. Scott had initially told her that he was single, but later admitted that he had lost his wife, leading Amber to believe that his wife had died. Once Laci went missing and Amber discovered the truth, she immediately contacted the police. With their guidance, Amber recorded several phone conversations with Scott, during which he continued to lie and show no concern for his missing wife. These recordings became crucial evidence in the investigation and were eventually made public. Amber's revelations dramatically shifted public opinion against Scott. The fact that he had been carrying on an affair while his pregnant wife was missing cast a dark shadow over him, even in the eyes of Laci's family, who had initially supported him. Amber's brave decision to come forward was a turning point, solidifying the growing belief that Scott wasn't just a grieving husband, he was hiding something much more sinister. In April 2003, the investigation took a devastating turn when the bodies of Laci Peterson and her unborn son, Connor, were discovered washed ashore in San Francisco Bay. The discovery confirmed the worst fears of Laci's family and the public. Just days after the bodies were found, Scott Peterson was arrested near San Diego. At the time, he had drastically altered his appearance, dyeing his hair and carrying large amounts of cash, which led authorities to believe he might have been planning to flee. During Scott's trial in 2004, prosecutors presented mostly circumstantial evidence to build their case. They argued that Scott had planned the murder, pointing to his calm demeanor, suspicious actions, and the fact that he had purchased a fishing boat just weeks before Laci's disappearance. Although no direct forensic evidence linked him to the crime, the pattern of his behavior painted a damning picture. One of the most impactful moments of the trial was Amber Frye's testimony. Despite the intense media scrutiny, Amber took the stand and shared her experiences with Scott, including the lies he told her and the recorded conversations. Her testimony, along with the relentless media coverage, sealed Scott's fate. In November 2004, Scott Peterson was convicted of the murders of Laci and Connor and sentenced to death. Following his conviction, Scott Peterson continued to maintain his innocence and pursued several legal appeals. In 2020, his legal team succeeded in overturning his death sentence due to issues with jury selection during the original trial. However, his conviction for the murders of Laci and Connor remained intact, and Scott was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The LA Innocence Project later joined his appeals, questioning certain aspects of the investigation. But as of now, Scott remains behind bars. Laci's tragic death has had a lasting impact far beyond the courtroom. Her case highlighted the alarming reality that intimate partner violence is one of the leading causes of death for pregnant women. The national attention brought by Laci's murder raised awareness about this issue, prompting many to reflect on the hidden dangers some women face in their relationships. Though her life was cut short, Laci's legacy lives on, serving as a reminder of the importance of recognizing and preventing domestic violence. Her story has likely helped others in similar situations seek help and escape potentially harmful circumstances. Thanks for watching, and if you like this video, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for more videos like this. Goodbye.